Hey, how's it going? Today I thought I'd make a little video on how you can get Mareanie with its hidden ability relatively pain-free. This method can take anywhere from about 20 minutes to hours. Hopefully you're one of the people who it only takes 20 minutes for. It took me 45, and yeah, let's talk about what I'm doing. So I'm at the Pokemon Center just before the Elite Four, and I'm actually trying to give my Ash Greninja the move Roleplay. I am going to want to teach it to Smeargle, but unfortunately, while Smeargle can learn every move in the game, it can't learn it like by TM or anything. It has to learn it by the move Sketch. So thankfully, Smeargle learns Sketch at like level 1. So if you go to the move relearner, you can keep teaching it Sketch. If you don't have access to the move relearner, every 10 levels, Smeargle will learn Sketch again, provided that it doesn't have Sketch already in its move pool. So you can see here, I have 4 moves, none of them are Sketch, and now I have Sketch. So now that, I guess this is part 1. Now that I'm done using the move tutor, or the move relearner, I should say, I'm ready to go and teach my own Smeargle roleplay. And actually, I'm going to do that by finding a wild Smeargle. In the past, I used to use double battles, but nowadays, because double battles aren't that common and there aren't many trainers who will re-challenge you, or any trainers, really. What I do is I fly to Route 2, encounter a Smeargle, and then have it sketch the move I want my Smeargle to learn, send in my Smeargle, and then use Sketch, and there you go. If it's a damaging move, and I don't show this off here, you're going to have to wait till a second Smeargle appears, because your move will likely KO the first Smeargle. But for status moves like Roleplay, it's pretty painless, and I'm going to show it off right now. So, Smeargle doesn't have a super high encounter rate, so you might be waiting for one to appear for quite a while. In fact, in my case, I once took like 16 minutes just to find a Smeargle. That's pretty bad luck, but that's kind of how this goes. No Dex Nav anymore. So because I outspeed the Smeargle, which is kind of a necessity, because if you don't, it's just going to use Sketch on nothing and struggle itself to death. Thankfully, Greninja is faster than a Smeargle. Also, it's level 36, so that should help. And this wild Smeargle, the only move it can use now is Roleplay, which works for me. I'm going to give my Smeargle Sketch, and now it learned Roleplay. Pretty good. So that finishes part 2. Now we're going to go to HA City, and we're going to go shopping. You don't have to do this if your Smeargle's at a very high level, but if your Smeargle's like mine, it's only level 33, this is useful. So you might skip this if you're like at level 100 already. This is an optional step. You see, the ideal Smeargle uses an attacking move, False Swipe, a Lepa Berry with Recycle, and Recover. Or Roost or whatever. If you use those moves, your Smeargle will pretty much never faint, and you can just keep going forever. Unfortunately, for this strategy, I want to use the moves Roleplay and Spore, and you'll see why in a second. So, I'm going to need to rely on potions and the X items. Thankfully, right here in HA City, there are guys who will sell you those X items. So for this, I'm going to need an X attack, some X special defense, and I actually don't buy one, but an X speed might come in handy if your Smeargle isn't at a high enough level, because Bubble and Bubble Beam, which Corsola is going to use, and yes, we're finding a Corsola, that will lower your speed. I don't get that happening to me. Well, like my speed is lowered, but it doesn't. I still outspeed, which is what you want to do. But that's just. I don't want someone to say, "Oh, why did my Smeargle? Why is it slower?" It's like, "Oh yeah, maybe you want to buy an X speed or 2." Okay, so once I get to Melee C, very slowly for some reason, I'm looking for a rippling patch of water. Now, these rippling patches are where you're going to find Corsola at 20% versus the standard 1%. And you're going to save in front because the rippling patches only last for 1 encounter. So if this wasn't a Corsola, which I actually got really lucky, it was a Corsola. That was the first time I got a Corsola first encounter, which is a mild victory for me. I would just soft reset and look for a Corsola. That can take a long time as well. If you get a Corsola, as I did, you're going to want to set up. So, depending on your Smeargle's level, you might want to use 3 X attacks and then an Adrenaline Orb. I made a mistake and I only used 2, and you'll see that I should have used 3. But it's not the end of the world. Yeah, once I use false swipe here, it'll become apparent why oh, okay. No, I guess I use an X special defense. I think that was a mistake. I think I meant to use an X attack, and I just misclicked. So, had I used an X attack, that would have lowered Corsola down to 1 HP, which is what I want. Unfortunately, when it's not at 1 HP, it just won't call for help as often, and that's what we need it to do. It did call for help, but help didn't appear. I'm not sure if health impacts whether help appears or not. I always operated under the assumption it did, but I'm not sure by that. Don't worry if help doesn't appear. We're going to actually look for a chain of Pokemon, but that doesn't break the chain. Only like losing the fight or running away will break the chain. So we're pretty good. What we're trying to do actually here is find Mareanie, which will be called in as an ally only 20% of the time. And as the chain increases, meaning as you KO more and more Pokemon, you are going to get a higher and higher chance of one of the Pokemon, in our case Mareanie, having its hidden ability. If you see a Corsola, which is the most common option, use your attacking move. I use Leafage because it has a ton of PP and it's double super effective. You can pick whatever move you want. I just thought that was the best choice. It only attacks one Pokemon, which is what I want, and it KOs the Corsola in one hit, which makes things faster, which is what I want. If you get Corsola, KO. Now, if you get Mareanie, here are where the other moves come in handy. You see, Mareanie attack Corsola on sight, and they outspeed Corsola. And Mareanie also don't call for help, so you can't have the Corsola die. Or faint, whatever. So, what you need to do is put the Mareanie to sleep and hope it doesn't wake up. Use roleplay and figure out, is this the Mareanie I want? In my case, no, it's a Limber Mareanie, I don't want that. So I'm just going to use Leafage and get rid of it. You might have seen that the Corsola used Recover. That's actually more bad than good. You might say, oh, it can use Recover. Mareanie will always outspeed Corsola, and all Recover does is annoying because what that means is that you have to keep false swiping these Corsolas to make sure they get back down to 1 HP, because when they're not at 1 HP, they don't call for help, and when they don't call for help, this whole process takes a long time. So you can see I'm being trolled by this Corsola pretty hard. Now, if this battle goes too long, you're going to want to switch up what Corsola you use, but never use Mareanie. I've tried. It will not call for help. Only Corsola can call for help. So there's no, I thought the first thing I thought is, oh, what if I just chain just Mareanie? Nope. You have to keep Corsola around. And that means you have to keep Corsola alive, which is why I needed Spore. Otherwise, I wouldn't need the Spore roleplay option. I would just have roleplay, and then I could use maybe Recycle in the Lepaberry. Well, after about 36 encounters, and that took a while, finally, Mareanie with Regenerator will appear. Now, without something like roleplay, you would never know. And you're actually going to see I got incredibly lucky. Now, there is a 33% chance that Mareanie will wake up on the second turn. So, use Spore on like turn 1 or turn 0. It can't wake up. But on the next turn, it totally can, and it will attack the 1 HP Corsola and KO it. So, in my case, that happens, but it happens to be a Regenerator Mareanie. So, if that wasn't a Regenerator Mareanie, which wasn't actually that high of a chance, I would have been done. I would have had to soft reset it and start it all over again. I would have had to start chaining, because Mareanie won't call for help. I can't believe how lucky I got. Now, sometimes the Mareanie won't use an attacking move. I had that happen a couple times as well. And I wish I could give a strategy that was foolproof and worked every time, but this was the only strategy I found that worked most of the time. Every other strategy I saw out there takes a lot longer and is much harder to execute. This is pretty easy. It just can be frustrating. And I can probably imagine in the comment section people telling me how, Mareanie keeps KOing the Corsola. There's very little you can do. You have to just keep trying and hoping that eventually you'll find the Mareanie you're looking for. And luckily mine was female, which for breeding purposes makes it easy. It has, I think, 3 perfect IVs because it was in the 30s. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So that's pretty good. Makes it easier to get that 5 IV perfect Mareanie, or 6 IV if you need all stats to be perfect, but I'm not sure why you would. Either way, yeah, it's sassy nature. I show off that it indeed has Regenerator. Actually, I don't think you can see it has Regenerator. Oh, well, it in fact did. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will be making another one of these about Galvanized Geodude. I find it by far more annoying. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you good luck on your Mareanie hunts.